Have you ever wondered why your golf swing feels inconsistent with solid contact one shot and the very next it completely falls apart? Well, it oftentimes isn't a bunch of things that you're doing incorrectly. Rather, many times it comes down to one simple thing, and that's your golf grip. The reality is many golfers think they're holding the club correctly, but a few small mistakes are actually costing you consistent contact, a loss of power, and a fewer yards off the tee. So in this video, I'm breaking down a few common grip mistakes that you can change right away to add more distance and get your ball striking feeling smooth again. By the end of the video, you'll know exactly what to avoid when gripping the club, and most importantly, what to do instead so that your grip finally works for your swing. So let's get right into it. And if you're new to the channel, welcome. I'm Mario. I'm a scratch golfer, and here on this channel, I give you tips, strategies, and techniques on how to improve your game. So I think it's important to understand why we're doing this in the first place. You need to understand natural tendencies of your arm rotation to understand how to grip the club properly. You might be asking, like, what do you mean? Well, let me explain. Well, depending on the starting position of your arms and your hands at address, your results can vary greatly. So for demonstration purposes, I'm gonna imagine that you're gripping the club. This is what I see a lot of golfers doing, which means you have somewhat of a strong grip where your right hand is too far on the right side of your club. This isn't a bad grip, but it's just not ideal for a straight shot. Now, let's bring the club back as if we're taking the club away. Now, when I stop the video, notice how the natural tendency of the hand, specifically the top of the hand, is to curl upwards as the arm goes back. Well, when that curl happens, the club face is actually closing on the way back. And when the club face closes, now you're more likely to hit a draw or a hook. You can make the best takeaway of your life, one that you think is perfectly on path and in line and in rhythm with how you want to swing. But the truth is that the laws of physics are kind of working against you at this point. And on the flip side of that, now let's take a look at what happens when your hand is too far over on the top of your club as you start your swing. This would mean that you have a weak grip. So let's bring your hand back along the takeaway and notice how the tendency of the hand in this position is for the bottom of the wrist to expose itself. The bottom of the wrist curls under and up. Well, now the club face is open on the way back. And now your tendency is likely going to be to come through impact with an open face, and you're likely going to either slice or fade the ball. So with these two back swings, I essentially made the same motion backwards, but I found myself in two very different positions. Look at how different these positions are when I compare the two. And all of it is really a direct result of how I started gripping the club from the address position. So mistake number one, and I see this mistake all the time, and that is having too strong of a grip. You might be like, whoa, wait, what's a strong grip even mean? Well, a strong grip is when both hands are rotated too far to the right, which can lead to strong hooks or even pushes if the timing isn't perfect. One thing that you need to understand is that how you hold the club right from the starting position, as in like when you address the ball, that starting position has a huge impact on the rest of your swing. And by the way, guys, if you want a free step-by-step guide on how to grip the club properly, I'll leave a link in the description below. It's a completely free 10-step guide with visuals and images on how to properly grip the club. It'll help you tremendously. So let's take a look at what a strong grip actually looks like. If your lead hand is pointed to the ground when you set up to the ball, your grip is too strong. Now compare the image on the left to the image on the right. Notice how the back of the palm is pointed to the ground rather than slightly pointed up. This position will allow for proper club rotation during the backswing. So the next time you're setting up to the ball, take a second and look at the back of your right hand for a right-handed golfer and figure out where it's pointed. Is it at the ground or is it pointed slightly up? And take a look at your left hand as well. How many knuckles can you see when you look down at your left hand? Can you see more than 2 to 3 knuckles? If so, your grip is probably too strong. All right, and mistake number 2. But before I go into it, if you like this video, do me a favor and hit that like and subscribe button so you don't miss out on any content that I release to help you play better golf. So mistake number 2, and I see this one just as often, and that mistake is having too weak of a grip. And if you don't know what a weak grip is when both hands are turned too far to the left, and it often causes slices and a lack of power because the club face quickly rotates open on the way back and tends to stay open through impact. So take a look down at your lead hand the next time that you're playing. Can you see all 4 knuckles? If so, you've got too weak of a grip. You should only be able to see about 2 to 3. This is the mistake that 90% of golfers have, and I promise you that it's costing you center face contact and 10 to 50 yards. The mistake that's costing you 10 to 50 yards is having a weak lead hand. And the worst part, you may not even know that you're doing it. The top hand on the golf club's grip, which is the left hand for a right-handed golfer, is the lead hand. And it's crucial for controlling the club face and determining the swing's path. So if your glove logo is pointing almost straight down at the setup position, you're putting yourself in a position of forcing the club face to rotate and stay open through the takeaway and the swing. If you've got a weak left hand, this means the only way to square the club face is with a last second flip at the ball. And you know what that flipping leads to? Inconsistency. And by the way, guys, I left a free grip guide in the description box below. It's a step-by-step guide that shows you exactly how to grip the club. Be sure to grab that before you leave. So look at this. The face is wide open halfway back, which means disaster's coming. And this is why you feel like you're fighting your swing instead of trusting it. This is actually going to cause, ball flight curvature, which leads to a loss of distance, off-center contact, which leads to two-way misses, and flipping of the wrist, which equals zero compression. If you're struggling with timing, your hands are most likely working against physics. And it all starts with the grip. So let's talk about what the fix is. Start by gripping the club with the lead hand first, before you even put your right hand on the club. The lead hand is what controls the club face. So just set the club down on the ground and grip the club, diagonally across the fingers like I'm doing in the video. Can you feel that leverage? Then all you need to do is rotate until you see 2 to 3 knuckles. More knuckles gives you stronger face control. Fewer knuckles gives you less face control. And what you're going to notice is a stronger wrist structure. Now, it's going to feel a little bit different, but your lead wrist should feel slightly bowed, and that controls the loft. And really what this does is it gives you true control over the club head at impact instead of guessing. So talk about a checkpoint that you can do during your swing. Pause halfway back. The toe of the club should be slightly down. If it's pointing straight up, the face is likely open. And if it's pointing to the right, it's probably wide open. Once I learned this, it completely changed my game. I didn't have to worry so much about my misses because I knew I had the proper mechanics in place to start. I stopped thinking about, swinging and just started rotating. Don't wait for the course to try this. You want to train your grip first. You can practice at home if you don't have access to a course. And be sure to grab my free grip guide in the description box below. It's a printable PDF that you can take with you to make sure that you're gripping the club properly. There's a drill called the grip and release drill that'll help you with this. Take the correct grip, look for 2 to 3 knuckles, and then hold it for 3 seconds and reset. And do this 10, 20, 30 times.
One other thing you might want to avoid is gripping the club too much in the palm of your hands, like I have on the screen. That takes away from the ability to manipulate and maneuver the club easily on the way back. So here's what I would suggest you do for more consistency. Focus on ensuring that the creases that your thumb and your index fingers make are pointed towards the center of your chest. If they're pointed towards your right shoulder, that works too. Just make sure that they're not pointed outside of your right shoulder. In this position, you won't be too weak or too strong, and it'll allow for a proper club rotation on the way back. So now that you have an understanding of common mistakes, I want to share 2 very common grip styles out there today, starting with the interlock grip. Well, I've got a video that I'll queue up for you here next on exactly that topic that you definitely don't want to miss out on. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.